Hi, I first became HIV positive, I suspect around 1983. I was in New Orleans and I was partying for Mardi Gras, and I remember coming home, and a few weeks later I came down with this incredible flu-like symptoms that knocked me out for a couple of months. And I remember being able to work, but still had flu-like symptoms. And then it just kind of sort of dissipated. It just disappeared, and then I was back to feeling myself again. But then in 1986, there was an HIV test that came out that wasn't quite sure that it was being tested properly. And I took a test, and they told me that they wanted me to retake it at that time, and I declined the opportunity to do it. So, and most of it was fear, and because there was really no medications at that time to determine whether I was or was not positive, and there was nothing really in the pipelines about medications that would help. So I declined to be tested at that time. This is 1986. I didn't get tested officially until 1988. I sort of suspected that I was already positive, but I needed to have a confirmation of that. So August of 1988 is when I was officially HIV diagnosed.
Hmm. And later on, in 2003, I was diagnosed with AIDS, um, full-blown AIDS, with cryptosporidium was what was going on, and my doctor immediately put me on the cocktail. And at that time, many of the drugs were already gone through, and we had more choices than back in the beginning of the epidemic. And truly grateful that within pretty much 2 months' time, my T cell count had raised. And at that time, I believe for me, um, HIV and AIDS was no longer a death sentence. And there was much hope that I could live with this thing called HIV. And yeah, I was able to do that. And today live a thriving life that brought me to this beautiful man right here. And we're going to get married in
Yay!
just 10 days?
8 days, 9 days, 9 days to
Days.
go. But
Woohoo.
also adding to what Gary just shared, I too, 1994 was diagnosed with full blown AIDS, and at that time there was very little drugs that were available. So my death sentence was that's what the doctor said, to go on ahead and just take time off and visit with family and friends and develop quality time for the little time that I had left over. This is back in Texas, in Houston, Texas. But I came to San Francisco in 1995, and the doctors and nurses and practitioners here took me under their wings and did everything that they could with what they had available. And in 1996, when the protease inhibitors came in, that's when everything changed for me as well. My health improved. I became vibrant again, and then over time, became this very healthy, active, Latino, gay, HIV positive individual. I no longer was living with HIV or no longer living with AIDS. I was now living with my disease under control. And hence, this is why we have today all these new drugs, and we've been able to survive that. And so, hopefully, this will help people make decisions why PrEP is now available to those who are considering taking PrEP to protect themselves in a lot of ways, but also to become more proactive in being healthy about their sexual choices, whatever that may be. But counseling, talking to your elders, talking to your friends is definitely a plus. And I really appreciate this opportunity to share our history with you guys. Anything else?
No, and just lots of prayers and wishes to all those who are living with and who have lost loved ones and friends and families to this disease. And may we build a stronger union. And God willing, that by the time these videos are shown and seen, that there's a cure.
Yeah. So
And God willing, that's where we're heading. It looks like.
I'm also part of the Positive Peddlers, which is part of the AIDS life cycle. We cycled this morning 20 miles to commemorate World AIDS Day in memory of all my friends who have died of AIDS, baby Nikki, Norman, Damien, Robert, and countless others. And so I wrote in memory of my friends and memory of our and people who are dealing with that issue today. So thank you for this opportunity.
God bless you.